All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fat Earth Podcast.
What up, Toe? What up, Toe?
I'm Mo Fungus.
Jimbo Detroit. I want to ask anybody that views this or anything else we do. So the select few,
About the
would you
10 that
please
watched it last time, yeah.
would you please let us know what we are throwing everything at the dartboard in an attempt to find something that sticks.
Right.
And we've done the top cities, the raps, the dabs, the writer's room, now a podcast. We're throwing everything at the wall, but you got to let us know because we get great feedback from those close to us. None of it's really that much criticism. Some of the ones real close to us will, but we need more comments and more feedback at what works. And if this is it, cool. If it's the other stuff, whatever. But we need to know. That's our focus group. So that's my plead in the beginning of this for you guys.
Yeah, smash subscribe and tap that like button.
This is
Really?
more than that. This is more than that. Do that too. That's cool. We love that, right? Obviously. But you that already have done it, the idea is let us know because we hear good feedback from people we talk to every day and people we haven't talked to in a long time, but we don't know what exactly the masses would want and what we should do more consistently instead of just changing the format every couple of weeks to try and see if something's better or works, which I'm cool with, but I don't mind the feedback.
Well, talking about the masses, what does Hitler dip his roast beef sandwich into?
Wow, Jewish joke right off the bat. What does Hitler dip his Jewish sandwich into?
I said his roast beef sandwich.
How
You.
did I go so anti Semitic instantly? Ouch.
Wow.
Didn't mean to. Horseradish.
No. All Jew. Rim shot, please. And that's why we're not doing stand up comedy, ladies and gentlemen. We know that that's our weak suit.
Put in the comments below for that, folks.
But actually, we did go to high school with he's pretty successful, Dave Landau.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You were friends with him. You went to South, I went to North. You went to North. He was good friends with my sister, but you were you knew of him, right?
Of course, yeah. I played baseball with both the Landows, Mike and Dave. And his
Yeah.
dad, um, God rest his soul, did pass away. He was literally my best baseball coach growing up I ever had. Was so chill, so down to earth. Spent time listening. I was an outside the box kid, big time, and his dad was one of the ones that was tolerant of
Yeah, he
that.
figured out how to bring in the ropes on your ass.
Well, Mike was energetic like myself, a little ADD kid like myself, and I think he trained him at home, so we always got along. And but Dave was on a couple of my baseball teams. But as we got older, we went to separate schools. Obviously, I follow him from afar now. His stand-up's good. His stuff on the
Stand-up's
radio's
hilarious.
great. Yeah,
Yeah, he
so
actually
big
from
props.
Opie and Anthony radio show, they broke up and then they both started doing their separate thing. And Anthony has a show that was actually what's Artie Lang was the co-host, and then Artie had all his drug issues recently, so Dave Landau actually landed the gig. It'd be interesting to get him on here and ask him how that actually all came about because I'm pretty interested in that. But he's fucking hilarious. Well, some of his jokes are they take place back in the high school days because he was a wild Oscar.
That White Castle story I knew about from Mike's
Yeah,
point of view prior to it ever being what is now a pretty popular joke on a lot of different social media formats and is a great, well told joke by him. It's funny
yeah.
to me, and I've talked to Dave actually personally about it in person, um, that he was more quiet and shy growing up. Very, very much so. Very quiet and shy when we were a lot younger. And I find it cool how he was able to get his comedic juices out or came out of his skin or whatever because you do not get that impression on camera or on stage from him, and I think that's something that he overcame or was very good at not knowingly at a younger age. So I think it's really cool where I see he's gone knowing him from back then.
Yeah, I think a lot of stand-ups are kind of like that. They're either one way they're either really introverted and shy, and then they find that as an outlet to kind of, let loose a little bit, or you have the Chris Farley. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think Chris Farley was more improv. He wasn't necessarily like a stand-up.
Introvert extrovert is so oddball to me because I obviously, you know me, I tend to get claimed as extrovert, but there's so many times I'd rather just be alone and chill in my house and be away from everything. So I don't know where I fall in that mix personally, but I think everyone I talk to feels like I fall into extrovert. It's just those classifications are so oddball to me in the sense of we can pinhole. When you do those tests, they pretty are accurate, but it is weird.
Yeah, well, we were talking about how you were talking about going to work, and when you got home, you felt like you were kind of on, like you had to be on, you had to be telling jokes and this and that. And I kind of feel the same way. It goes back to the high school days where we would treat each one of our classes as our own private little 45-minute rant session where we were trying to make as much everybody laugh. I would say if I got out of the class and I had a nice smooth experience, lots of laughs, lots of fucking people hooting and hollering, I would feel like that was a successful class.
I
Not
did my
based on what
job.
I learned, not
Yeah.
based on the information retained.
Well, if I absorbed something, it was always nice. I always feel like our brains are running a million miles a second, so I was pulling that in, but also seeing,
Yeah.
relishing in the performance that was being class clown. I don't know
Well, I'm
why
not
that kind of
I'm not saying I
stupidity
was a
would get you
genius
going.
in any way, but when I was in high school, I would go to class and I really wouldn't even pay attention. Most of the stuff was common sense to me. And that's when I ran into my problem. When I went to college, you actually have to study this shit. And then I wasn't down with that. So,
Well, I waited till I was 30 to go back to college after for a couple semesters hot out of high school that were an embarrassment. And when it was my own dollar, I'll tell you what, I did a whole lot better. Funny how that works, but
yeah. No, it's actually funny because I went to Macomb. I went to Western for a little while and then I moved back because I tried to start a band. There was a really good singer I wanted to hook up with that was still in high school actually, and I figured, fuck it, I'm going back. I'm going to pursue some of my passion here. But then I ended up going to Macomb, and it really shows how next level these Grosse Pointe schools are because the classes I was taking there literally were easier than some of the classes I was taking in high school.
100%. 100%. And from a different point of view, when I was talking about going back to college in that same element, I had already gone, like Grosse Pointe South was a great teacher. I had already gone to business school of hard knock lives because I had owned a company for 10 years. So when I went back to get my business administration degree,
Yeah,
holy smokes, that shit was so easy. I'd already done it on the street. So
right.
unemployment tax, all that kind of stuff. So anyways, we're talking best comedians, best stand up. That's how we got into Landau. That's how somehow we went down this rabbit hole. And
High school, baby, high school.
a lot of us were class clowns. I imagine a lot of people on our list were class clowns. I can't remember. Norm Macdonald, I believe, did something on SNL where he shows like maybe it was Sandler. So one of them did show their yearbook and what they had there, and it was contrasting to. It wasn't class clown. It was like, but maybe it was best to most likely to succeed.
Yeah, I won
It was
best
that
laugh because my school banned the class clown because they thought it
best
was like
laugh. Yeah.
demeaning.
Oh, okay.
They didn't
All
want
right.
someone to be like, "Oh, this is the class clown." I don't know. I don't even really know the inner
Wow,
workings
the
of what was going
beginning
on.
of your generation being a little too soft. All right, continue.
Yeah. Actually, Kelly Japowitz, I think, was had something to do. All you had to do was really know the people working on the yearbook, and then they would put your name in. Obviously,
Best
the school,
ass.
the best. No, the school would vote on it. But if you didn't know anyone, did you get any of those awards?
No, but we had a running going, and I did get second place for class
Best
clown.
ass. Yeah.
Best ass.
Thing was fucking tight as a drum. You could bounce a quarter off that bad boy.
See, my ear they were going for flat and soft, and that's why I nickeled in junior year. Uh, No, but I was close, I guess, and so I was friends with someone on the yearbook committee that said, "Oh man, you lost by a couple of votes." I know who
Yeah.
won it. He's a good buddy of mine. He is definitely an ass clown. I mean, class clown.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, what I
Yeah, it's
would
a
say is,
popularity contest to a degree.
for sure, and I'll be dead honest. I actually polled for it. I was telling people to vote for me for it. So the fact
Mm.
that I ran for this position and lost is more of a Joe Biden than anything. But it is what it is. Here
But
we are.
okay. So I like that you brought up Norm Macdonald because he's one of my favorite stand-ups. He's a guy that likes to take it to the level, to take it to the limits and then push it just right over the edge and then reel it right back in. I just saw him live. He's one of the only stand-ups I've ever seen live, so
that plays a big role. I was going to mention that because I know you've mentioned it in the writer's room how you saw Norm, and
Hmm.
especially when you had your smoker's coat on there, that kind of resembles what he's
Hold
up
on, let me get
to.
the coat. Why don't I have it on right now? What's going on here?
So, uh, but once you see someone live, because I'm going to mention a name a little bit later that's going to kind
Yeah.
of blow people's minds, but I saw him live and I remember going into it. I'm like, this is going to be total shit. Fuck, why'd we get these tickets?
Well, don't
And
tickle our
then,
asses here. Let's hear it. Let's out with it.
no way. He's not the first name I mentioned. No
No, you
way in
don't have to
hell,
be the best.
unfortunately.
Just name the
No,
fucking
no,
guy.
he'll get mentioned in due time, my friend.
All
But I
right.
did want to say, I don't, and maybe for yourself, we've never had this conversation. Growing up, holy smokes, comedy was watching it live, getting like I didn't have Prodigy or the internet when it first came out. I didn't even have AOL when it first came out.
Yeah.
Um,
You did.
so I was always trying to catch. My dad had a cheater box, and HBO always
Yeah,
had
HBO is
awesome.
huge.
Dude,
Yeah.
awesome. The way they do good shows now, they had stand-up comedy, and BET always had a good running of that from black comedians.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when my parents would go to bed or I was up late or I had the opportunity, I was always watching this HBO stand-up comedy, trying to catch Eddie Murphy or Billy Crystal or all these names now that I look back after doing research for the show and I go, holy smokes, dude. So it almost took researching for the show to remind me how big of stand-up comedian was in making me love comedy or wanting to be that class clown.
Right.
So I'm gonna throw out some names like Billy Crystal, maybe that catch you or maybe others off guard that but I got an older dad. My dad's 70. Like I do have this more mature outlook on a lot of things like music and comedy. I feel like in some aspects, even though we still put out shit like Skin Mint. So I mean,
Yeah.
I like to relate to the 24-year-olds
Well,
too.
no, well, I think the classics will reverberate through time. Because even I talk to 20, 24, 25-year-olds, and they're still talking about classic rock and stuff. That shit will withstand time, and it's just
Sure.
good.
Isn't that the testament? But I think if
Yeah.
you go back and watch a skit, same way as a rock song or piano or Mozart, orchestra, whatever, when you can go back and pay respect to that, it's so awesome to go back and pay respect to these comedians that were so far ahead of their time. And a couple names that probably come to mind there: Richard Pryor,
Yep.
Don Rickles,
Oh yeah.
Rodney Dangerfield, and someone I never got on board with, and I could not understand his fame. And I thought he had good writing, but his performance to me was just nails on a chalkboard. Sam Kinison. Holy
Oh.
shit. Could I barely listen to it because I can't.
Hey!
The
This
fucking
fucking
yelling, dude. Like, calm the
yeah.
fuck down. Andrew Dice Clay, you want to fucking yell at me? Yell at like I like Andrew Dice Clay yelling at me fucking
Little
abusively.
Miss Muffet.
So dude, I mean, what's your thoughts on Clay? I mean, I know we both
I
have dark
love Clay.
humor.
I
Yeah,
think you might introduce me to him because that Little Miss Muffet rant was all
yeah.
over YouTube. I love that shit. That's some good stuff, man. That's funny because I'm watching Entourage and he comes in on the last season.
Then they're
Fucking
singing,
guys,
okay.
he hasn't changed a bit.
Dude, well,
Although,
that's
well,
his
maybe his
shtick,
character.
That
Yeah,
yeah, that's his fucking shtick. I mean, leather coat, leather palmed gloves on,
yeah. Yep,
but
exactly.
I love talking about selling out Madison Square Garden. I mean, fucking
Well,
hilarious.
that was
But
his heyday. That was his biggest
oh yeah,
accomplishment.
he was the first one, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I like, man, some of the older ones. People really dog Cosby, but I think that stuff's not that bad. I
Well,
hate the guy. The guy's a total
yeah.
fucking
So
scumbag.
yeah, it came 10-4th on him. Unfortunately, it's Michael Jackson edition. You can his comedy, he was clean. Will
Yeah,
Smith tells a great story where he got, or no, Eddie Murphy, where Bill Cosby called Eddie Murphy because he was
yeah,
pissed that he was so vulgar and got mad at him, real mad at him. So Bill proved you can do it without vulgarity and that. It's so hard to come back though and watch him in the same way. I mean,
right.
unfortunately, knowing those stories now, it's almost like that was all an act. I'd rather you be vulgar, dumb fuck, instead of raping young women. So,
Yeah,
um,
that's kind of
yeah,
what Stern's been saying because he's quite vulgar on the air, but then after he's kind of a little fucking bitch.
right.
kind of a real subdued
Well,
little.
you know, love him or hate him, he's been a shtick his whole life too, and that's
Right.
fine if it works. Don't think I wouldn't do it. I'm a shtick in training, but I mean that's what it is. I mean he's nothing.
Maybe you
It's
just
like we
got to get
said,
it out on the air or
he's
on the
very
stage.
introverted. You
Yeah. Oh
know,
yeah. He's shitting his pants right now. I'll tell you that.
so well he's using the squatty potty. God knows that.
The Toto and the Squatty Potty combined. But yeah, I like Mitch Hedberg. I think for me it's got to be you got to be real unique. Say that
Well,
10 times fast, asshole.
Mitch Hedberg was one of the CDs. You worked for my landscape company for a
Yep.
stint.
Yeah.
I used to have a bunch of comedy CDs that were in my CD thing on the visor.
Uh-huh.
And at one point, we were picking one a day, and I had a list there. I had Mitch Hedberg, Dane Cook.
Dane Cook can go shit.
Yeah, but when he first came out, this first comedy CD I got my hands on, way before,
Is that the
uh,
Kool-Aid Man skit?
probably even before that. Definitely did. It was the first time I had ever heard "Who's in My Mouth." We're
Yeah.
gonna turn off all the lights and play a game. Who's in my mouth?
Oh
Uh,
Jesus.
so, but see, so that joke was great, right? And then the next CD I bought, the same jokes on it, and then I bought a third CD and the jokes on it. And I
Yeah.
literally said the third time, I go, I'm never buying another Dane Cook CD. You put out 3 CDs in a row, and they all had this "Who's in my mouth," a little bit tweaked how he did it, but shut the
Uh-huh.
fuck up. You know you're recording this for a CD. Don't do the same fucking joke to me 3 times, not even twice. It pissed me off. I was done with it. I don't like repeats like that. So
Yeah, that's weak.
he cost me there, and he really fell off the face of the planet, didn't he? Holy smokes, he got in a couple movies. That one with Jessica Simpson. See, this was before that. I'm going back. This was like 2001. I bought
Right.
Dane
This is the
Cook CD right
beginning of
away
it all
because
for him. Yeah.
my business partner was huge into comedy and had Siri or XM at that time and he told me, you got to go get this Dane Cook CD. I just found out about this comedian. He's hilarious. I had to buy the CD off the internet. I couldn't find it at like the CD store, and I liked it a lot then ahead of its time. Fast forward, it's played out.
Well, he just couldn't act, so he got shunned. But everybody does like Good Luck Chuck.
Good luck, Chuck. Yeah.
That's what my cousin Nick was saying, that he was Good Luck Chuck, because every girl, like, he'd break up with them, and then the next person they found, they'd be getting married, they'd have kids and shit. Good luck, Nick.
uh, the
Speaking of like
women's
tossing
side,
out, hold on a second. I was gonna say talk about you call Dane Cook the repeater on all his albums. He was doing the same joke. Guy like George Carlin actually did the opposite. Whenever he would do a live show, like a HBO special, he would toss it. He would never do
um,
those jokes again.
you just named my number one, baby. That's
Boom.
George Carlin. He's old school. He mastered his craft.
Yeah.
He thought so far outside the box and was able to put something that everybody thinks into this form. People didn't like necessarily how he delivered himself. Look at the Censorship Act, where he talks about what you can say or not say by the FCC
Yeah.
and names all the words and the ones you can and can't. And he's just so
He's a
he,
genius.
he's a genius, dude. He thought different than everybody in the room, dude, and the way he was able to verbally put it out there. I like. I believe it's a talent because I believe I'm good at it. So I
Yeah.
even chalk it up more to being able to take how you think and say it. And not everybody can do it. He was probably one of the best. And I fucking like George Carlin a lot. So I didn't want to bring him up so early, but he's my number one. I think that's my best stand up.
Would
My
you ever
favorite.
Would you ever consider doing stand up?
Man, you've never said it to me. People have said that to me many, many times, including strangers in the industry I'm in, where I see a
Uh,
bunch of people a day and I'm helping them from a customer service standpoint. And a lot of them at the end go, "Man, you should be in stand up and stuff." Because I will drop. I don't know. I think I'd be good at it. I feel like I like going off the cuff. I feel like I could handle
hecklers.
hecklers real well. But
I'd be down to write some material for you. People have asked me too, but I think you're a lot more outgoing than me. I'm more of the introvert, which again, we've been seeing that with some of these stand-ups. That's how they are in their day to day. And then when they're on
man, I feel
stage, they
like if we
explode.
could take the duo that we are, yes, you could. I would be humbled in the most form to have you write comedy for me. But I also think that we
Maybe we
could do
could do a
that.
duo thing.
Be cool. I think it would be. And the duos I've seen and done right are slim and few and far between, but very, very good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you got to be
So
careful with it because it can come off as a gimmick and just fail.
a shtick,
But again, what are we can only go up from here. So
Schlitz.
sucking down some slits.
Wait, what was the thing in the writer's room you were talking about doing where he's
Oh, the
mouthwasher?
schnapps.
Schnapps.
We still should do something on that.
Well,
But the
comment
budget
down
kept
below,
getting
folks.
jacked
Yeah.
up, kept getting jacked up. It turned in from a
Schnapps.
$10 skit to about $1,000 skit. We need fucking cop cars and shit.
Like skin mitt.
Yeah.
We should be doctors. Holy fuck, we got a bottle. So, hey, by the way, didn't we get masks and booties and gloves right
Yeah.
before the getting was good?
No,
Holy shit.
it was not the getting was already getting because I went to like 4 Lowe's and they had no masks. They said
The Asians bought them out. They know something's coming.
some organization, I can't remember who it was, the Red Cross, they said bought every single mask from all the Lowe's. But my sister works for a doctor's office, so she was able to hook up some of the masks. I still have a bunch of.
They're hurting now.
I
They
still
really
have.
ripped
Yeah, they might
that
call me
food
back
out.
for these fucking things, saturated in goo.
Excuse me, sir. This is President Donald Trump. Is this Kevin Hogan? First, I want to tell you that Fat Earth comedy is huge. It's great. It's probably the best I've ever seen.
So I'm looking at the top 3 comedians: George Carlin, Richard Pryor, and who do you think comes in at number? Well, he comes in at number 2, but we'll just say he's the 3rd. It's probably based on money. Well, maybe not money because Richard Pryor.
No.
was around long
Jerry
to make it.
Seinfeld's number 1 in money, 920.
Yeah. Jerry Seinfeld's on the 3rd in the top 3.
Okay.
And Kevin Hart squeaks in at number 4, and I think he's actually the one that makes the most.
Throw this list up on screen. This is a different one than I've seen. It'll show
right,
the
hold on.
people.
You see if I can get more of a list. Oh, that's a YouTube fucking thing.
Because the one I saw disrespected Jerry Seinfeld. He's more Bill Cosby-esque in the sense of he's got such a clean humor, very observant guy, obviously, that is able to put his observations into the form of a joke. I like it. I respect it. Top
Yeah.
3. I don't get mad at someone that puts him there by any means. I don't get mad at someone that puts him number 1. If you're talking money grossed, his net worth is $920 million, arguably probably closer to $1 billion or over. So how do you argue that? A billionaire comic? You know, he's the Jeff Bezos of the comic world. But
Right.
Larry David is a little bit of an asterisk on that, right? Because he helped push him there. And when you hear Larry David do his comedy, you start to argue whether most of Seinfeld was Jerry or Larry. So,
Well, the end Seinfeld, like Larry, I think left the show during season 5. I want to say.
yeah,
So I think some of the best shit is from the
newer,
last
so,
3. The
yeah.
last season, you can kind of tell that it's peaked and it's starting to come down a little bit. So I respect him on his decision to stop. But
Jump the Shark.
a lot of the stuff that I love is the Kramer. He's such a physical comedian where he's kicking shit off a table and he's out of control with the way he just moves. That's like my humor. I'm not a big stand-up guy. Again, I appreciate the guys that are super, super good, but my cousin Michael listens to all these stand-up podcasts and shit, and I can take it or leave it. But I like the situational stuff, more of the body humor.
What about Jim Carrey then back in the day, flopping around on stage like an animal and shit?
Yeah, I like him. He's funny.
He would do that drop back where he like dropped all the way down on the stage.
Yeah. Well, that was he could make so many different faces and shit. I hate it when people say he's not.
Impersonator.
Yeah, people are like, this guy's not talented. I go, you could not like Jim Carrey, that's fine, but he's fucking fun. He's pretty talented. We watch him
100% he's talented. And no,
Right.
like you said, Ace Van, I don't care. You can hate it. You can be my father and hate it. You could have put anybody else in that role, and that movie would have never done. It would have almost been unwatchable because the script was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, Dan Marino and shit's getting involved. That was written for him or something.
He wrote, the guy, I think it was. I don't think he wrote it, but
No, he didn't. Shadyac. I want to say it was Tom Shadyac.
I didn't even know Larry David did stand up. I don't think this list I'm looking at is very accurate.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I saw a bunch of people making this list, but
He did. He has done stand up.
no, that's what I'm saying. Some of them on that list are ones that have just been on stage and done it, which in its own right is hard to do. So, I want to ask you where a couple people in the middle of the pack rank, and
I just want to let our listeners know that I don't want to put this up because we might get flagged for this. We don't own the rights to these pictures.
copy. Um, so starting someone who I think is immensely talented, but I don't know if he's my cup of tea, and I wouldn't buy a ticket to see him. Okay, so that's kind of my scale. Would I pay to see him or not? And I'm not talking about $350. It's a one-time appearance. I'm talking about reasonable. Would I pay $50 to go see this human being on my Saturday night?
Yeah.
Jeff Dunham.
No, I don't like that stuff.
Yep. No. The answer's
I'm a
no for
real,
myself.
yeah, I'm a picky son of a bitch,
All
but
right. Someone a little closer to Norm Macdonald on steroids, Bob Saget.
he's all right, but I don't think he has the range. Again, I'm gonna treat these comedians like we're gonna do a podcast later this week, maybe on Friday, where we're gonna talk about the best bands. And for me to have a best band or a best comedian, you gotta have a catalog of material. So yeah, we made fun of Jerry. We didn't say he's the be all end all. I respect the guy. He's got a lot of material. George Carlin might have the most material because that guy fucking worked for a long time.
And it's pretty much what he did. I mean, he did get a George Carlin show, I want to say on Fox, which I was addicted to as a kid, which is so funny because I don't know if that was his demographic, was a 10, 11, 12-year old. But my goodness, I love the George Carlin show. I used to watch that every week, and I didn't do that with every sitcom.
Yeah.
I did it with another sitcom, though, and someone that I love his history. I love his Michigan ties. He's got movie in Detroiter, Tim Allen. Thoughts?
Yeah, he's pretty good. Again, I don't know how big his catalog is. For me, you got to be announced like
Dude,
Dave
he did a
Chappelle.
lot. He did a lot. He did as much as Chappelle, I would say.
Oh, okay. All right. I
That's
just don't
all
know that much
Tim
about him.
did. Tim was huge before Home Improvement.
I love Home Improvement. I grew up on that shit.
That's mostly written by him, but that's definitely built off his. He was that was
Yeah.
him on stage, just this manly dude that doesn't really know tools but knows tools and just cars, hot rods, tools.
I
You
had a
know,
picture of Jonathan Taylor Thomas in my fucking locker at school. I love me some fucking Home Improvement, baby.
I had Britney Spears, the other end of the spectrum there, but
Uh,
all right, so no $50 for Saget. Kevin James, someone I'm told I look like literally all the time and I never see it. Kevin James,
yeah. You don't see it? You look a lot like him.
I, dude, I just don't get. I don't know. I don't see it. I've been told nowhere near as much as Kevin James. I hear that literally weekly at work from fucking strangers, but Jonah Hill, I heard one time, or I've heard a
Yeah.
bunch of times, but I heard that one time at a bar, a chick would not leave me alone because it was when Detroit was doing those kickbacks, and she sat at
Right.
the bar trying to get my autograph, thinking I was Jonah Hill. Literally that stupid.
Well, you should have used it to your advantage, my friend.
She was not.
She wasn't worth the advantage.
If you're not 280, you're not a lady. This woman was
Uh,
all woman.
little thigh slapper.
Yeah, a little thigh something, a little extra thigh, KFC.
Well, what are your thoughts on Louis C.K.? We all know he had his own issues.
That's what I'm saying. Like now I can't watch his comedy kind of the same way as Cosby, but not as bad.
Dude, he's
But
not. I wouldn't put him in the same category as Cosby.
no, but
I
he's
mean,
close to
come on.
Harvey Weinstein, just walking around in a robe beating off. I mean, that's a little
Right.
bit of Harvey Weinstein territory for me. And once that's like we've all been in a robe and had an erection at the same time, right? But if
I've
that's
more
what I'm
robe probably
known
ever.
of,
Yeah.
you got an issue. You've done it too much if you've been known now that you've been in a robe with a hard on with a chick in the room. So
Yeah.
you ain't Hugh Hefner. It's hard to get away with it. I would say unbelievably great comedian. Hard to get over that.
Right.
I respect him though. He's an amazing comedian.
What do you
He
think of his move of just coming back out and just performing at some of these like the Comedy Store? People don't know who that he's gonna be there, and he just pops up.
Yeah, you gotta. He's hitting the ground line. He's getting back in the trenches, and I feel like it's,
He's
his
hitting the
best
ground
move.
running.
That's his best. Well, that's what he's best at, right? So what I
Yeah.
said, all that weird shit, it's hard to get over. The only way to get over it is repetition of not the weird shit and what you're amazingly great at, and that is him at stand up. So I
He is
approve.
really good at it.
I
Yeah.
approve of the move. Yeah, he's great. It's hard for me to look at him the same way, but he's excellent at the craft. Uh,
Well,
Rock,
let's the
Chris Rock.
yeah. Well, wow, you read my mind. I was gonna say a lot of these comics have like a comedy CD. Richard Pryor was really well known for that. Red Fox, I think, might have been one of the first.
They had actual LPs too.
Exactly. Chris Rock, Bigger and Blacker, is the might be the single funniest stand-up act ever performed. That's my opinion, and I'm gonna put it
Nice
out
job.
there. Yeah, it's dude. He's talking about going to the black supermarket. He's talking about dude that it's unbelievable. I wish we could play some excerpts from it, but that Bigger and Blacker set from HBO is phenomenal.
Very well done. He's got to be a top five, I would say.
Yeah.
I think he's a top five guy.
Is he
It's
still doing
hard. I
stuff though?
mean,
I haven't heard about him in a long time.
Netflix has something a little bit newer, I think,
Yeah.
but
He's just riding that grown-ups train. Adam Sandler's paying this guy to the fucking bank.
yeah, him, Spade, and Kevin James get together every once in a while, throw out a fucking Grown Ups 3 and call it a summer. Let's buy another house in the
Yeah.
Hamptons, baby.
Stop making the grown-ups movies, assholes.
Someone I can watch over and over and over and over, and I love him, and he's energetic, and God, I love when he does the fucking Crocodile Hunter, Cat Williams, when he
Yeah.
fucking wrestles that chair to the ground as the croc. Oh man, we got one right here, crikey.
He is
And
funny.
dude, he's great. So he is not on the top 25 of any list I looked at. And maybe because our generation, I take out of consideration the Don Rickles and that age group.
Uh-huh.
But holy shit, I feel, and I saw a couple lists where he wasn't top 100. I feel like he's definitely top 50.
I think
Uh,
something happened with him though, some kind of scandal. I don't know exactly what it was. Let me see if I
he
can
must
find
have
some.
because he fell off the face of the planet as well. If you pull something up, I wouldn't be blown away.
Yeah. I do remember watching some of his specials though and laughing out loud.
Someone
I
that just blew up the Golden Globes, dude, Ricky Gervais. I really like his stand up. Not a
yeah.
huge catalog, small catalog as far as America, but mm, righteous how he fucking rips everyone a new asshole.
All right, here we go. On October 2018, Williams was arrested in Portland, Oregon, charges of assault and fourth degree.
So
So,
he stubbed someone's toe.
he got into an argument about his dog.
I was surprised to see because he's big talk. His net worth was well under 12 mil. I didn't expect that. What
Yeah.
about speaking comedian Jeff Ross was like I feel like he's a decent comedian, but he's way down the list on most of these things, way down,
He's really
disrespectfully
good.
down.
He's really good with the roasts.
I was gonna ask you now, so that's what I was gonna translate into the roast. Where do you put these
Yeah.
things?
Yeah, I think they're funny. I think there's definitely a skill there. Uh, what was that one dude who passed away? It was always him.
Bertrich.
No, no, not him, but he is good too.
Yeah, he's great.
Patrice
Patrice
O'Neill.
O'Neal. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The other guy that was with Jeff Ross all the time. Fuck. I'm gonna find this.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. One of the roasts, maybe a couple of them now. Anthony Jeselnik, dude. I love this dude. If you ever got a chance to hear him, this guy's an animal.
I can't like a guy named Jesselneck. I'm sorry.
Oh, he's good, dude.
He needs
That's
to
really
change his
what it.
name.
That's how he starts. He comes out. He goes, Jeselnik. What are you gonna call me now? Like he fucking knows his last name's hard to read and say.
Yeah, he's all right.
Back in the day, Dennis Leary. You ever get to hear him before the MTV ads with a cigarette in his hand, or the fire? He's a fire marshal or something on TV nowadays. But Dennis Leary back in the 80s and 90s, huge comedian, real good.
Greg Giraldo is the guy I was talking
He
about.
died.
Yeah, he passed away. I think he
Wow.
was drug related.
I think he was drugged. Someone drugged him, maybe himself.
Yeah, that's too. That's you see that with so many comedians getting into the heroin, but
Oh, Mitch
that
Hedberg,
shit's
yeah.
well, Hedberg, him, Artie. I'm pretty sure Belushi was maybe messing around with that shit.
What about Jamie Foxx? 50
He's,
bucks or no?
he's pretty good.
I'd give 50 bucks, I think, for Fox. He's pretty good.
Yeah, I like a lot of the African American stand-ups. I
Oh,
feel like they're a
phenomenal.
little.
Cedric.
They seem to be a little more graphic almost. They seem to push it a little more. I don't know.
No claim
I
to
don't know
fame,
why
but
that
I went
is.
and saw with a couple buddies, Gordo and them. I went and saw the Kings of Comedy when it came out at the theater. It was we were laughing our fucking ass off, stoned out of our minds.
Yeah, it's Jamie
Um,
Foxx or not Jamie
no,
Foxx.
no, no.
It's
Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, Bernie Mac, and who
the
were
other
we just
DL
talking about?
Hughley.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. All
DL.
those guys got their own show.
Oh yeah, dude. What do you mean? And that's when the whites realized they were marketable.
That's when the CW exploded.
It is the CW.
You got Moesha,
Let's
the
get all these
Hughleys.
motherfucking funny black guys on this country western station.
I don't think it ever was country western from what I
No,
saw.
I
Maybe
just
I was
always
just so
think
close to Detroit.
CW.
I don't.
It's just fucking
Yeah.
Moesha. We always bring Moesha up. This like a real staple.
I grew up on Fresh Prince and Moesha, a couple of singers with some shows of their own.
Someone that I feel like, and I hope this doesn't sound disrespectful, I feel like you would act like him or like pull the stunts of him and see the humor in it. Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, he's pretty cool, man. I like him a lot.
I think it's
And
pretty cool.
it's not necessarily because everything he does is just slapstick funny, but I never really appreciated him until I watched that movie Man on the Moon and saw Jim Carrey uh do
Embodied.
him do him pretty fucking good. Yeah,
Dude,
that's
embodied.
phenomenal. That movie of the making of the movie is almost better than the
Yes.
movie.
Yeah, I
You've seen
agree.
that?
Yeah, it's great.
I
I
love
love
his
that.
alter ego, man. That he's unbelievable.
Yeah, dude, the dude wear the fucking full get up and
Fuck,
everything.
what's his name?
Morty or something.
Yeah, that's
More.
classic.
I can see you doing shit like that. The wrestling, making fun of wrestling women and making fun of all you hillbillies out here.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far.
Nick Swartzen
Eh,
fell off, huh? Man, I was getting in love with him. I had a CD of his in the landscape days. Seemed like he was gonna take off, and Gay Robot really went limp.
yeah, and then he jumped on the Sandler train and he's got a house in Hollywood.
Yeah, but is he still getting movies with Sandler? I don't know. Those are pumping out few and far between to
Well,
be.
we forgot to talk about Grandma's Boy in the last episode. That's a classic.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. Actually, we did forget that. Why?
That
Someone
might be
comment that or something?
No, I just thought of him because of Schwartz, and that might be a Happy Madison crown jewel.
That's a Happy Madison. That is the crown jewel, I
Yeah.
think.
And Deuce Bigelow. That's a fucking good one too. Yeah.
Someone you mentioned last time because I was talking about his movies. You talked about his stand-up, Eddie Murphy.
Classic.
Yeah, those
And
leather
a big
suits. How
inspiration.
does he? How did he put those on and go? I'm gonna go out on stage with these. It was so ridiculous, but I guess hey, the '80s, baby.
When you got the confidence and the cocaine, you'll
Oh,
do
even
anything.
then, yeah, I was about to say, even now he talks about it. He goes, "This fucking outfit I wrote." Oh, I wore, dude."
Well, that's that bit that I was talking about. I don't know what the name of the CD is, but he's talking about his family barbecues, and that's one of my favorite bits.
Someone total 2014, but fucking loved him. Zach Galifianakis, obviously become more of an actor now, but if you've seen some of his stand up, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'd say he's not as three-dimensional as some of these guys we're talking about, and I'm going to bring up a name right now. Robin Williams.
Yep.
This guy was such an animal. God
I,
rest
I
his soul.
I'm pretty sure it's George Carlin. Robin Williams is my top three.
He's
Um,
fucking good, dude. He's got a lot of energy. He's not just one-dimensional. A lot of these comedians, which is fine. You find your inner voice and you're going to portray it. Some of these guys, like a Schwartzen or something, it's just one. They're hitting one note. And that's kind of the reason I like Norm because he is kind of one note esque, but his words can keep you on the hook for a long, long time. So even though he is somewhat contained, I don't know. Robin Williams is almost more of an all-purpose show because he's gonna be running around, he's doing voices, he's doing
So
characters.
energetic, yeah. His joke on golf, his joke on even just in Aladdin, dude. Like Will Smith,
Yeah.
I just watched the new Aladdin. Will Smith got so much heat for that. He did a way better job than I thought. Like, I don't know. People are mad this dude's doing Blueface. Shut the fuck
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
But holy fuck, how you gonna top Robin Williams? Buddy was a cartoon as well, but Jesus,
Right.
God, it's sad he took his life because you'd like to see him do one more stand-up run. Seinfeld's talking about one coming up. I'll Ron White, glass on stage performance. Where do you sit with him? I had his CD in the landscaping truck.
Yeah, that's white. That's like white collar comedy, right?
Ron White.
Yeah.
Um,
Matching the last name, isn't that more for upper class citizens, or maybe I'm just making
Probably,
that up
but
in my
he
mind?
I mean, he had, I guess, that kind of demeanor to give off. He did wear a suit, no tie.
Yeah,
Um,
like a Jeff Foxworthy. He made his career off being the everyday.
well, he was one of his boys. He rode that Foxworthy train on the
Oh, he was part of that.
yeah, Ron White was
Oh, okay, so
on
he
the
is a
Jeff
little more.
Foxworthy
Yeah.
tour.
Okay, I got
He's
it.
like Texas money.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
think of that, you know. But he
Uh
would talk about having his 30-foot RV for the I
huh.
can't where the fuck am I gonna park this thing? I pull up to each fucking venue. I got nowhere to fucking park this thing. That's always the biggest bitch coming to this town.
Yeah. Yeah, for some reason you say Ron White, I think of Bill Hicks, and I like Bill Hicks. We've been playing his stuff on our canoe trip the last couple of years. It's good.
He ain't no white collar.
No, he's not a white collar, but I don't. I for some reason I thought those two were the same
I think
guy at one point.
Foxworthy is more blue collar too, you know. You might be a
Yeah,
redneck but I was going to ask you about Foxworthy. I mean, obviously, you got to go back a decade, but the dude was king of the world. I mean, he's close to Seinfeld with money. I mean, he
oh yeah, him and Larry the Cable Guy were cleaning up.
fucking yeah. So you had Ron White, Larry the Cable Guy, Bill Engvall, and
Hmm.
Jeff Foxworthy. That was the little fuck. I forget the name of it, but the Foxworthy tour.
Is Bill Engvall the guy that does the puppet?
No, that's Jeff Dunham. That was the first one I asked you about. Jeff Dunham, you go, not my cup of tea.
Yeah, this guy's got his hand up a fucking puppet's ass. I'm not.
Oh, the chili. You got the chili pepper here. And he does the Mexican voice, all that, yeah. What?
Well, comedians they're pretty. Well, a lot of them are snobbish, especially the ones that aren't successful. You can just you hear this stuff a lot on Joe Rogan about. It's a cutthroat industry. I'm assuming that actors
not
are the
idiots.
same way. No, they're not idiots. I'm just saying that
You
one
know,
guy gets a show and they're fucking pissed off about it, but a lot of them would put down comedians like Carrot Top because they used props and stuff. They thought that was the easy way out. Because really, what you want to be as a comedian, you want to show your mind. You want to show how you can bring stuff in and then make it into this funny little bit. And
you
then
remember the beginning of the show, I had someone I said I would talk about later in the day,
yeah,
and you just named them Sing Carrot Top Live, Madison Heights or something, maybe the Emerald Theater or something. I don't know, I forget. Went with my buddy, walked into
loved
it
it.
thinking this is going to suck nuts. It was superb. It was
Yeah,
fucking hilarious. I remember leaving for the first time in a long time from any entertainment venue with my face hurting because I had been literally flexing
yeah.
muscles. So I mean, I laughed my
Everybody
ass
knows that
off, bro.
feeling.
And that's why I feel like the Norm Macdonald thing. You're always going to have a special place for Norm Macdonald, right?
Yeah.
Carrot Top. This is before he got. I mean, like he was jacked, but he looks fucking oddball now. I think he had like a ton of
Yeah.
plastic surgery or something. This is before that, and I must have been 22 or something. It was fucking superb, dude. It was a great show. It always lives on in my head that I had a lot of fun there.
Well, that's the question. If you're getting a laugh, why do you care if it's from a prop or not? Again, you still have to think about that. You have to put the prop together. There's time, there's effort. Why do these guys got to hate on it? I mean, I can see you saying that about a Gallagher. Guy's just smashing fucking watermelons on stage.
See, people that saw him live speak highly too. I don't see it. I fucking can't stand that. Get that
Yeah.
shit off of me.
I don't know. I haven't delved into the Gallagher set lists. I don't
The
know
rabbit
exactly what.
hole.
Yeah, I didn't see. Is it is it just a watermelon? Is there a
If I
watermelon
gotta
and an
sit underneath
apple?
a fucking tarp, if I want to get nice seats and sit in the first couple rows, it's probably not going to be something I want to see. That's not my cup
Right.
of tea. Penn and Teller would be probably the furthest I want to go towards being scared to sit in the first couple rows.
Yeah, fuck that show.
Oh, I love Magic, and I love Penn and Teller. They do their.
Weren't
You talked about duos; they're funny, and I like
yeah,
Magic a lot. I'm a
weren't
Magic
those
guy.
guys
So.
ostracized though? Because they like were telling secrets and like showing how people did tricks and stuff.
Fuck off! If your trick can get found out by a guy
Dude,
just
that's the
watching
code.
it, nah,
Yeah,
nah, not when you're
that's
the big dogs on the block. If you
that's
can't
the
fool
magician
us,
code. Fuck that.
then get a spot on Vegas like them, and you can talk. Landau does Vegas all the time at fucking
Brad Garrett's place.
yeah.
Ro-
Yeah. Speaking of Ray
Robert,
Romano,
kid,
Ray
Robert.
Romano, phenomenal stand up, and Brad is phenomenal stand up.
Yeah, that's funny. I was just talking. I had because everybody's got to stay inside because of this fucking virus. But
Wait,
I
what?
was, yeah, what you've been going out, bro? Because I've been
You haven't been
gallivanting
going
all
to the
over town.
bars, dude? I just saw Kevin Hart the other night at the fucking theater.
Yeah, coughed right in him.
He's shorter than I, which is rare these days, and
Yeah.
coughed right on the top of his head on accident.
Anyways, my buddy I was talking to, we had a FaceTime with a bunch of friends, and he works in Hollywood. He used to caddy for Ray Romano. That's how he was working his way up the food chain
Where at? In local?
in California,
Wow.
right
How was
outside of
that tip?
LA. What's that?
How was that tip?
It was good. He works for a production company now that makes like not I'd say like teen to kid movies, and they're about to start working on this one book series, kind of like a Harry Potter esque. But yeah, I don't know. He we should get him on here and just chit chat because he was trying to write comedy, or he was writing comedy, and he's working on some screenplays and stuff. Again, my one buddy was trying. I went to like grade school and high school with him. Kind of wasn't as close with him in the high school days, but I was really good friends with him in elementary school, and I'm just trying to pick his brain and see how the inner workings of Hollywood are. So he'd be a good guest.
Hell yeah, dude. I
But
like
yeah,
where
he
your
had to
head's
follow.
at.
He had to follow around Ray Romano and shit. Clean off his balls from time to time.
I was sucking his farts, hoping a joke would come out.
Do you like
Hit me, hit me.
Jim Gaffigan, the hot pocket
Love
man
him,
himself?
love him,
Well, he
love
speaks
him.
right to
Great.
you, doesn't he?
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah. Jimmy baby, I love Jimmy Gaffigan. Yeah, phenomenal. Patton Oswalt, love Patton Oswalt. He's fucking hilarious. Him and I are probably the same height and stature.
Yeah. You guys
Um,
are into a lot of the same video games too, I'm sure.
David Cross.
Eh,
Uh,
I like him in Arrested
Arrested
Development,
Development. Yeah.
but have you seen
No
that show?
stand up. He's good.
I don't know. I've seen a little bit. Again, man, I'm very picky with this stuff. I have Sirius XM, and they have like five or six comedy stations. I'm constantly going through them. The only one I really like stick on is the comedy greats.
What about Lewis Black? A little bit Ron White feeling. Definitely a little bit more white collar Republican kind of feel to him.
Yeah, yeah. He's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Those the Republican feel,
Yeah, yeah.
the Trumpers, the Thumpers.
Well, the opposite, obviously, Al Franken,
Yeah,
Democrat, and
I don't
oh
know. Is
no,
he a
maybe he
stand-up?
is
He's more of a writer.
he was definitely a writer, but he did stand up too for a minute back then. I'm a little older, so I got into stand up very young watching these guys. I'm telling you, I was watching this cheater box shit as much as I possibly could. Uh,
Did your dad watch it with you ever?
no, 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 no,
No.
no. He couldn't know. He couldn't know, dude. If he knew I was watching this shit, that's what was a part of the high. Like I had to
Yeah.
sneak watching it because the swearing and that HBO allowed all that. And like, no, he had no clue. But my parents were so cool about giving me a lot of space with video games and that, and that's why I think I got a level head and a level sense on it.
Well, yeah, you see
You
these
know?
kids that go to college and their parents never let them do anything, and then the first night they're
Oh
fucking
God,
overdosing on alcohol. They're going ballistic. These girls got their
right?
shirts off.
No, my mom knew to get me drunk by 14, so that wasn't happening.
Yeah. You could tell which girl was sheltered in college on the first weekend. All fucking hell broke loose.
Yeah, she was getting fucked 2 ways Sunday. Uh, Jay Leno.
I've never really heard too much of his stuff, but all he's a comedian's comedian. They all say they love him. Even
Yeah,
Howard hates him because they've had some mishaps. He like stole one of the
right.
guys that work for him and shit. But even
They used to be
Howard
good
says he was one of the
friends.
best. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to be good friends. Uh, um, well, you said we went. You talked about women there for 2 seconds. Sarah Silverman, Amy Schumer. You know, what do you got as far as who's your top lady? Whoopi Goldberg. Hard to love her now. She's gone so off the Democratic deep end as far as now she's put all of her weight into one basket. But
Yeah.
phenomenal stand up.
I
Cash
like
Shire.
Joan
Yeah.
Rivers.
Oh, phenomenal.
She
Oh
would
my
push
God,
we
yes.
thought we were graphic. This fucking old lady would
No.
make me she'd make me blush.
So hard ahead of her time.
She's talking about dead people like it doesn't even. Again, she's one of these people that let's get graphic because we're all gonna fucking die one day. And unfortunately, she did just pass away kind of recently, but
Yeah.
she just throws it all out there, and I respect her for that. I also gravitate more towards the graphic jokes.
Skin mitt?
Not a Amy Schumer fan. She was okay when
No.
she started.
When she
But dude,
started, she was great. Yeah.
it's all the
When she
same
was just
stuff
coming
now.
out.
She's an
Yeah.
abuse. She loves. She's a slut and this and that, and these are her words, not mine. But
Right.
you got to evolve, and that's like a Robin Williams or even a Richard Pryor. He he evolved and he finally found his own voice. He eventually just started telling stories from his own life, and that's when he really was on top of his game, I think.
I mentioned her real quick there back on MTV age. Anna Gashire. Did you used to watch her at all?
No, but I know her from SNL.
Yeah, real good writer and funny.
What you do on MTV? Just
She
comedy
used to
stuff?
do a lot of like so MTV started getting into like the Dennis Leary, Anna Gashire, and like they started
Right.
having these stand-up comedians on. I must not have been alone with loving watching stand-up. It was just a different day and age though. Like nowadays it's all like I don't even watch the stuff on Netflix and shit. I don't know why. I've
There's too
fallen
much.
so
It's
out.
saturated.
That's what it is. That must be what it is. I used to have to sneak a peek, and so it was so worth its weight in gold. Now everywhere I turn, there's 55 new stand-ups, and I'm like, oh, I can't even keep up. So fuck it now.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, maybe that's what it is, but um,
Ladies and gentlemen, Ellen DeGeneres.
yes, Ellen, big.
Here I am.
I used to love her stand up, but she was a little bit more graphic back in 93, 94. I used to love it back then. Used to love the Ellen DeGeneres show. I used to make my sister watch it back then. I was like, this woman's fucking hilarious. But
A
um,
sitcom that she came out on.
yeah, it was called
Yeah.
Ellen. That was the
Yeah, I
name of the
used to watch
show.
that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. Um, her roommates were quirky and shit. But top woman, man, you said you don't like Schumer. Now you scare me from even putting her in a category there.
Hey, if you like her, you like her. Comedy, we've learned that.
Who's the fat Italian chick that loves the black guys?
Oh, the roaster.
Yeah.
Shit. My brain ain't what it
Man, I
used to
haven't
be.
heard her name since she dropped the N-word or whatever the hell happened there. Something happened where she went Michael Richards on it.
Yeah, well, this isn't her, but Kathy Griffin, the old
No,
red-haired.
I liked her for a minute until she went off the deep end. She got nuts. Rosie O'Donnell can't stand you.
Yeah.
George can't stand you. But I saw Rosie O'Donnell in a stage play back in 92 in the um what was it? Not the Newsies, the fuck, she played some kind of fucking leather coated tough girl,
Yeah.
the socias and that. I forget what the fuck this was, but
All right, you're
uh,
done. The
yep,
woman we're looking for is Lisa Lampanelli.
Lampanelli.
Yeah, she's the old Campanelli's fucking sister.
Yeah,
She's
well,
good. I like her a lot.
yeah, okay. Who's
Do
your top
you?
woman? Yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah, she is funny. Who's
I'm
your top?
telling I said it. Joan Rivers.
Oh, Joan. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Ali Wong. No, I'm just joking. She's
What
pregnant and she's pissed.
headline?
You know who I've been listening to a lot because she's been coming on the Stern Show a lot is Nikki Glazer, like Glazer.
Yeah, yeah,
She
good.
seems pretty funny. Seems like a chick I'd have a good time hanging out with.
Tina Fey. She's pretty
Sh-
fucking.
She's not bad, but I don't know if she's considered a stand-up. Is
She's not
she?
considered. No, it's kind of
Right.
like Beverly Hills Cop. I'm gonna force it into the comedy routine and
Yeah.
make it work.
But she
Uh,
was head writer on SNL for a while, so
yeah, yeah, she's funny. 31 Rock. 30 Rock. I mean,
yeah, that's a funny show. Tracy Morgan, bro.
Tracy
He's
Morgan
he's
uh,
pretty damn good.
on the list.
His voice is just funny.
Yeah, yeah. And I just saw Eddie Murphy was asked in this Jerry Seinfeld interview in the Comedians in Cars getting coffee.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, the dude doesn't turn it off. He goes, that's the thing. He goes, you think that like this is, it's like with Samsonelli. Obviously, I'm not like that all the time. This
Yeah.
dude never stops. This
Uh-huh.
Schmidt, this
Making
fucking
that mascara run. So this one interview I've heard on Stern is one of the funniest fucking things I've ever heard in my life. He's talking about girls giving him head and shit and how big his dick is. He's like, I'm making that mascara run. He just keeps saying it over and over again. He knows the power of repetition. He'll say the same fucking thing over and over and over. And by the time you hear it for the 50th time, you're just cry laughing.
no, that's literally what they said. That's what Eddie Murphy says. That this dude just he goes the first couple times, it's like a little chuckle. He goes the 40th fucking time this dude says this
Yeah.
shit to you. Like I don't know
Yeah.
how. He goes, he's the only one that does it more. He gets funnier. He goes, most people you want to slap them by then.
It's
He goes,
annoying.
yeah. He says he's got a special art to him. Tracy Morgan, dude. Yeah,
I think women get a cold deal almost in the stand-up world. It's a lot
tough,
harder for
dude.
them. Yeah.
Tough. Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to be biased. I do like a lot of women stand-ups, but I'm pretty skeptical of both male and female. But at the same time, it's a man's world. What are you gonna say?
Oof. Oof. There's the title. What about Aziz Ansari?
Well, I'm sorry, he's not that good.
Okay, all right. Not a
Actually,
lot
he's
of
out.
he doesn't have a deep catalog, but Christ, holy
I'd
shit,
rather
man.
watch him on some of these guys. I'd rather just watch on in a sitcom than I like to see him doing the stand-up. And
Yeah, okay.
most of Aziz, the shit that he's done, like Parks and Rec, I like that show. And then I like the show that he did for Netflix.
And yeah, he was in a show back in the day. You saw it at my house.
Oh my gosh,
The best show ever. What the
dude.
fuck, dude? What was this? Where it's a show, a murder, a reenaction of a reenaction.
Yeah,
The
a reenactment of the
reenactment of the
reenactment.
reenactment. Yes,
Yeah.
Aziz was phenomenal. Human
Giant.
human giant, dude. Fucking superb, bro. Aziz. That's where I first learned about him, dude. And this dude was fucking superb.
You're going to look like me. But the guy they got to play him in the reenactment of the reenactment, it's like a straight up black guy. He's a ripped black dude. It's fucking hilarious. And then they have the gay porn star that dies and then he haunts them.
Yeah. That's right. Damn, dude, I need to go back and watch some human giant. I fucking used to love that shit.
Who's the gap tooth guy? He's hilarious. Paul Shear.
Yeah. Paul
I
Shear.
fucking
That's a good
love
stand
him.
up. He's good stand up.
I'm sure he does do stand up. He's hilarious in
The League.
The League. I like
Yeah.
that show. And you know what's funny is
Yeah.
I was just watching some of Nacho's rap songs. I'm just an everyday normal guy. That thing's got like 40 million hits. Have you ever seen that?
No, but he's great. Soft spoken. And the Indian dude, not Aziz, or the black, the like Arabic dude or whatever in the league is
Oh
Rafi.
yeah,
Rafi is
Rafi.
so
Yeah.
fucking good, dude. That dude needs to be in way more shit. He's fucking hilariously superb.
He kind of reminds me of Jorg a little bit.
The
He's
looks like
very
Jorg,
pumped
acts
up.
like Iggy. Just comes running in and fucking, he's like, got an idea, guys. Now, speaking of comedian amongst our friends, Iggy is very funny guy, and actually, and it's so hilarious. I'll always call when it's about to happen and go, oh, he's about to tell us about his skit for tonight, and then sure enough,
Yeah.
like 2 seconds later, be like, I was working on this one with my dad tonight. Tell me what you think of this joke. But he's like Tracy Morgan. Okay, just like him. He's gonna do it 4 million fucking times. His mama always says when we go out, don't get him started on saying just one thing. So don't even laugh at anything, or he's gonna repeat it 400
Yeah, he's
times.
the repeater.
Mega.
I've been called that myself, so I can relate to him.
Well, I remember, and I say it to this day, and you got a lot of good taglines. A couple of them show up in some of our new rap songs, "Titties and Grits" or "Skin Mitt." And I have
Yeah.
people all the time say to me some of these lines, and they're like, "Yo, dude, you wrote that one." I didn't write it, bud. I go, "But thank you. I'm glad it's
Just we both
catchy."
wrote it. Who even know the lines have been blurred, man.
But
It's all one
anyways,
entity at this point.
show me a titty or something. We went on this
Oh yeah.
camping trip and you fucking said this thing 4 million fucking times. And I have said this for the last decade now. I cannot get show me a titty or something out of my head. So
Ain't
you've
that
got some
bad
cool.
boy.
A couple accolades. I had Peon, Minion,
Yeah. Yeah.
long before its time. Titties and Grits, obviously, is something I've said since high school.
Well, why don't you
Uh,
sue Despicable Me for using you know how much money they're making off those fucking minions?
oh, Dad, 20 years in advance, bro. I was calling people minions in middle school.
Yeah, I
Minion.
don't think you can copyright that word. It actually means
Oh,
something.
Trump will prove it. You can trademark it. That's for sure. He
Yeah.
trademarked "I'm fired." We both need to trademark our shit for here on out. Titties and grits, we should definitely trademark because it's
Yeah.
funny. I searched shit, and now there was that big meme going around. I'm gonna open up a
I
bed
know
and
I posted it.
breakfast strip club.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I saw you did the same thing. One of my buddy that I used to play guitar with, his wife posted it, and then I popped that bad boy right in the comments section. She was laughing her ass off. And then I saw you did it too. I was like,
I did it to
this
two
guy's
different or three different people, dude. Yeah, fuck yeah.
thinking on the same level as me, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, you like titties and grits? Well, don't forget before you pay us a little bit. Here you go. Check that out.
What do you think of Joe Rogan as a stand-up?
Tolerable. Like him more as a podcast guy, asking questions and giving me his point of view from there.
Yeah.
But probably dude, that dude's so multifaceted. I feel like one, he'd beat my ass in a back alley and then be able to make me laugh while he's picking me up. I mean, he is multifaceted, cool. You know,
Yeah.
fear factor, all this shit. He is multifaceted, cool. But
Well, remember News Radio? That show was sweet.
I don't feel like stand up. Yeah, that show was sweet and ahead of its time. What's his name from SNL there? Big time.
Yeah, the guy that his wife killed him.
Yeah, Phil
Phil
Hartman.
Hartman, yeah. Sad
Um,
fucking story.
SNL guy Dana Carvey.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, great,
We
right?
were talking about him last. Dude, that guy did not. I don't think he gets the justice that he deserves. Yeah, everybody knows him as Garth, but he can do so many impressions.
He talks in a great
Uh,
interview about being introverted and how it's plagued him. You know, he
yeah,
struggles real big from like speaking and that shit, even though he's good at it.
it's such a like I'm sure you can tell with Rogan, he's got his group of guys where he's all friends with them. You know, 5, 6 dudes that he's really really tight with, but they all talk shit about each other. Maybe not the friends that do, but if you see a guy that's what they asked Jerry Seinfeld, could you be friends with a stand up that you didn't like his work? And he goes, no, because he
Right,
doesn't respect them.
right.
It has nothing to do
Well,
with your real personality if you're a bad stand up.
Well, of course, but we all know people like that. Do you want to hang around a dude that's got bad jokes and just as abrasive or annoying or whatever you want to call it? It may be in limited basis, but you're not going to be texting him daily and being like, "Hey, let's hang out."
Right, but Seinfeld's such a hardcore comedian that he takes it very seriously. If one of my friends wasn't that funny on stage, I could still hang out with them. I'm just not going to go see him live.
Well, I would argue that that depends on how often that stage routine is coming out and the time you're hanging out.
Every time
I
he had 4 beers, the jokes, the Hitler sandwich bit would come out every time.
Hey, fucking Maurice, enough.
Well, that's funny because we were hanging out we released a video where we're talking about improv, and I hung out with the entire cast from the improv one time because one of the dudes that worked there lived above our buddy Chuck, and for the most part, one of them was kind of outgoing, but they were all just like super shy, super. I don't want to say depressed, but they didn't seem very happy. Maybe he takes that to be good. I don't know.
Well, some of these guys are dark, but it's like every aspect in life. It's like every profession in life. Unfortunately, depression or that kind of claustrophobia is more prevalent in everything than is probably ever known or talked about, you know, which is why
Yeah.
comedy, it can be real funny when it's dark and highlighting some of the stuff people are scared to talk about. I think maybe that's one thing I like and tunnel vision me to it as well because I liked I don't know that I was always that comfortable in my own skin or whatever you want to call it. Maybe that's why we were class clowns, you know, maybe that was our way of getting over it or feeling accepted or something. Maybe our talent was making people laugh and that's how we did it, you know. And I think the better you are at that, the higher level you succeed at that, well, maybe it takes more out of you. I know doing Samsonelli, you know, completely different avenue than comedy, but holy shit, when I just act in those short films we do, it takes so much out of me to be that mentality just for that short amount of time. Every time we've ever left that set, I am drained like no other. I mean, I'm drained like I did a 36-hour shift of work, and it's very odd feeling. So, like you
Yeah,
said,
I mean,
maybe it takes that.
imagine these actresses or actors who have to cry or put themselves into a sad emotion over and over and over in a movie. I know I've read a lot of different stories about people developing depression just from working on a movie because you got a sad scene, you got to rev yourself up and put yourself actually into that moment, which I think when you're saying that, that's a good sign that you're a good actor because you're putting yourself literally into that frame of mind. Even though Samsonelli, he's not like we're not asking you to play a genie. We're not asking you to play the fucking genie from Aladdin or anything. We're asking you to play the Samsonelli character, which there's some of him in you, but it definitely is a completely different character, you know?
Well, it's
So,
kind of like even like Godfather, you know, or something like
yeah.
that, where it was a limited role for him. Heath Ledger, you know, no one knows how he died. I mean, maybe it wasn't because of depression or any of that, but there are signs that something
It
more
was pill
dark was
based, I think.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes, but there's for whatever reason, maybe it's just media driven fake news bullshit, but you know, there's this leaning towards that it was a darker thing than just an accidental overdose or something. So I don't
Well,
know,
again,
but
that accidental
I could
overdose has to be led up by something. So him putting himself in that Joker role, because it's not just the time they spent filming it. He was probably doing that stuff for at least a half a year before, getting himself in the mind for it, and
oh
that's some
bro,
dark
they
shit.
say he took it very, very serious. I
Yeah.
that I can only imagine what that would take. I would need. I told it to you one time after we filmed. I don't know if you remember. One time we filmed, I called you after, and I was like, "Bro, I can see how doing this for 8 months would literally make me have to go to like Hawaii for like 2 months or something as a full reset or somewhere
Yeah.
where I could just absorb Earth's vibes and nature and just get right back to myself. Because holy shit, some Joaquin Phoenix, dude, I don't know how he bounced out of that. What a great role he did for Joker. He took it to a new level. I say arguably better than Ledger, and I didn't know that'd ever be topped. So, mad
Yeah,
respect to
he's
that. That's a
good.
whole different avenue of comedy, but where there's light, there's always dark, and a lot of these people, and including ourselves, I feel like we both have our own demons that we've um, not that dark, not that ridiculous, but Certainly, we
Yeah.
both have had sadder days than not, and whether it's recently or in the distant past. So,
Yeah.
it's how you deal with that is life, and that is once you deal with it, that's when the jokes can be made. And I love laughing at jokes that hit home or are dead serious punch that have a soft landing.
Yeah, I think we'll wrap it up on that because comedy's out there to achieve a couple of things. One, it's to bring light of something that's absolutely ridiculous because you're making fun of it, and then people can laugh at it and see how ridiculous it is. Or it can be a little more of a personal thing where you can kind of tap into these insecurities and bringing them out into the public, and maybe it makes it feel a little less daunting on you. And that's usually what they're telling these comedians to do is find your voice, find things in your life that you can, because only you can really talk about that stuff. Everybody can smash a fucking watermelon, but only I can talk about only only I can talk about the psoriasis and the problems that it provides. So we'll wrap it up on that note. You got anything else you'd like to say?
Oh, dude, mad pleasure. Let's do another one. Check out Kevin's. I'm sorry. Check out Mo Fungus's sister channel. Tomorrow they're doing another podcast. Mike and Maurice's Mind Escape, and
Yeah.
great stuff there on a totally different avenue, but definitely highly respected. And come on back to Fat Earth Comedy because while we're off and while we're all at home, we're going to be doing more of these. And if you hate them, great. You love them. Fuck. Keep
There's nothing
commenting.
else we can do. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, we can't get together and film this good shit. I saw the iHeartRadio, a lot of these performances from last night. Alicia Keys fucking killed it. Holy shit. Uh, some of these people are talented as fuck. Backstreet Boys, way to put a fucking. I don't know how they did that video other than they edited the dog piss out of it. I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but they all did the um, one of their songs from each one of their houses for a benefit concert last night. Elton John
Oh
hosted.
wow.
Alicia
Yeah, it's not
Keys,
Gail Gadot singing Imagine anymore. We got actual artists.
Billy Idol of Green Day did.
Billy Idol, he's not in Green Day.
No, not that Billy Idol. What's his name? Billy Idol
Billy
is
Joe Armstrong.
Billy Joel. I'm sorry, Billy Joel. Um,
Billy Joe.
is it Billy Joe?
Dude,
I
there's a
thought he had
guy
the
named
same
Billy
name.
Joel. He's a
I know
piano guy.
that. I thought he had the same fucking name as him. All right. I thought he was the
Oh,
same name as him. All right. My fault for 30 years.
wow.
He was on. He was phenomenal. Groth, David, David from
Grohl,
Nirvana.
this fucking guy.
Yeah.
This guy
Dude,
is
what
just
the
all
fuck?
over
Why
the
didn't you
place.
watch the thing? Didn't you know I'd bring up fucking miscellaneous topics?
Are you reading this off a teleprompter, not knowing what these words are?
Who Bill Bonds? Who the fuck wrote
Uh,
this?
I'm
I'd be the
gonna do it live.
I'd be the worst news guy. Yeah, because you know me, it'd be like a rap. So I just want to freestyle. You'd be like, nah, dude, we got to
Uh,
write shit. It's a pleasure. Enjoy the night. Enjoy the day, whatever time. And bottom line is, we'll see you very
Stay
soon. Fatter
inside.
comedy. Stay the fuck inside. Stay away from me.
Peace.
Rev had that shit.